seeing my vision, see my dreams dancing in distance, moving to a music melodic while making you listen, letting my words disturb you.
How's it going, guys? I hope you're doing alright. So this video is basically about this idea of like perfection and why it's kind of like a bit of a flawed concept when it comes to day game, because I think like a lot of guys have like part of their anxiety of doing an approach or going in to do an approach is because they don't really feel like they're almost like they're good enough, or like they need to get to this almost like perfect level before they can get to this place where they can actually go in and approach. So yeah, I mean that's kind of a bit of a fallacy in my opinion, because you know, I always say like it's always best just to go in and do like, you know, 50 average approaches rather than like 2 really perfect approaches, because the nature of day game is just that there's just so much chaos and randomness that happens, and like, you know, you get approaches where you know, the girl doesn't seem that keen on it, and then you know, it's like a 1-minute conversation and she says she has to go do a quick number close, and then you actually end up seeing her again, and then other times, you know, you have a 10-minute conversation, the girl's really invested, and then, you know, she flakes. So it's very random, and the key takeaway really is that it's always best just to go in and play that numbers game, you know, do that massive quantity of approaches, or what I say massive, like a decent amount of approaches, so that you can actually you know, play the numbers game and get that level of quantity that you really need when it comes to day game, because you can only really control your own actions, and like so many girls out there aren't really going to be that receptive, so it's just about finding the ones that really are receptive. I would say like you know, when it comes to like, you know, when you get good at this and like you get to an advanced level, I'd say like one of the biggest hurdles for guys at that stage is the fact that you know, if your interactions are too perfect, sometimes girls will kind of look at that and think to themselves, oh, this guy does this all the time, he's obviously a player, and then she's just like, oh, then maybe she flakes, or she just has second thoughts about you. So that can actually be one of the kind of the biggest reasons why actually girls flake with advanced guys, because, you know, if an interaction is too perfect, then she's thinking, yeah, this guy's got a lot of experience, he does this all the time, blah blah blah, you know. So, you know, even if you have like a few fuck ups or a few imperfections throughout your interactions, that's totally fine, it's totally normal. I guess, like, you know, all the advice that I give on this channel and the stuff you see on YouTube, you know, it's like aiming for perfection, but you're never going to quite get there, and that's totally fine, you know, because it's a lot to take on board, you know, to get to that super good level. And you know, it's like you don't necessarily have to get results. But I guess that's really the point. So yeah, the best thing to do really is go out and just hit that numbers game, and go out and approach when you can, really. Obviously right now with lockdown it's a bit tricky, but yeah, and like I guess like for a lot of guys who were going out, you know, pre-lockdown, and now they've kind of had a bit of a hiatus, it can be a bit sort of tricky to get back into it again and build that momentum back up. But yeah, like I say, like, don't put pressure on yourself to think like, oh, I'm not good enough anymore, or I'm so rusty, or like, oh, my interactions aren't as good as they used to be. Don't worry about that, you'll get back to that level again, because there is definitely like a muscle memory aspect to day game. You're not going to like forget everything, and once you throw yourself in there again, you start doing approaches, you'll find that, yeah, you're going to get like back to where you were, really. So yeah, just yeah, don't put so much pressure on yourself to really have like, oh, I need to have these really good interactions. It's better just to kind of go in and yeah, just kind of not necessarily like freestyle it, but just kind of just relax and just throw yourself in there and see what happens. And then gradually, as you do more and more approaches, you'll think to yourself, actually, okay, yeah, maybe could have done this or that better, and then build it up from there. So that's the best thing, I would say, really. I would say that actually, like, this whole concept of self-imposed pressure is probably like the biggest hurdling block that guys experience, especially in the early stages. You know, when you just release that pressure and you stop caring as much, you don't put all that pressure on yourself where it's like, I must do this approach on a girl. You can almost kind of like reframe it in your mind, so it's more like, I'm going to say hello to this girl, I'm going to socialize with this girl, see what she's like, and then if she's cool, then I will see if I can take things further, and if she's not, then it's totally fine, I'll just carry on with my life. You know, so I say, like, you know, a lot of the reason why, you know, either beginner guys or guys who've had a long break struggle to do approaches or have effective approaches is because of this whole concept of putting all this pressure on yourself, where it has to be perfect, it has to be really, really good. But that's just not the nature of how, you know, human interaction works. Human interaction is chaotic, it's random, there's all these unexpected things that happen, and you have to be okay with that, and you just have to relax and let it happen, let it flow, and just go with the flow, essentially. Yeah, just don't put pressure on yourself, go out there, express yourself, and yeah, try and obviously look back at the stuff you've done and gradually improve, to kind of see what you did and think, oh, maybe I could have done this, maybe I could have done that a bit better, and then just gradually improve from there, really. So that's definitely going to be really relevant to you guys, you know, when lockdown starts to ease a bit. But even you can still be doing it now, you know, it's still possible to go out and approach right now if you go to the good areas like the parks, etc. So yeah, so that's down to you to decide whether you want to go out now or after lockdown. Cheers for watching. If you'd be interested in one-to-one coaching with me, where we'll go out in public and work on your approaching girls, or more generally with your social confidence, please visit my website ed-game.com.
Seeing my vision, see my dreams dancing in distance, moving to a music melodic while making you listen, letting my words